Here's your wrestling news for July 25th, 2022, and we're kicking off with Smackdown as last Friday, mere hours after Vince McMahon announced his retirement, Brock Lesnar walked out of the show shortly before the event was meant to go live. By the end of the show, Lesnar returned in time to destroy Theory with his own Money in the Bank briefcase, but only after a lot of work behind the scenes. While speaking on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer discussed Lesnar's walkout and the lengths WWE went to bring him back. It was imperative that they got Lesnar back. The basic gist was, the most famous guy on the roster, who was the main guy advertised for the show on Boston, all of a sudden he walks out? That's the worst that could happen. They made sure he came back. I was not told what the deal was to get him back. The worst thing they could have is that all of a sudden Vince left and it's anarchy. Brock leaving and SummerSlam changing would have been an absolute disaster at this time, so they made sure that it did not happen. WWE reportedly had plans for Goldberg to take Lesnar's place at SummerSlam if he didn't return, but there was no way he would have made it to SmackDown on time. Fortunately for WWE, Lesnar returned to the arena in time for the main event, as the last thing the company needed was for their top star to start no-showing events. McMahon's retirement has left a power vacuum in WWE, as until this week, he had remained in charge of creative. Now that spot needs to be filled, and while fans had hoped that Triple H would be taking the reins, given that he is now the Executive Vice President of Talent Relations, this role hasn't gone to the game. A tenured member of creative told Ringside News that Bruce Prichard is, in theory, by title, head of creative, after previously serving as the executive director over Raw and SmackDown. Prichard has more recently served as interim head of talent relations until Triple H took the role, filling the spot left by John Laurinaitis. Laurinaitis has been put on an indefinite leave due to his alleged participation in the alleged McMahon scandal, and the future does not look good for Johnny Ace. Vince McMahon is retired, but his vision will live on, and for the time being, one of his most loyal employees will be running creative. Now, AEW has developed a massive fan base over the past 3 years, with audiences around the world loving the All Elite promotion, but the show isn't to everyone's taste. Jim Cornette has never shied away from criticizing the booking and in-ring work of AEW, especially Kenny Omega. Many people feel that Cornette is just being unfair, but during the Ring of Honor Death Before Dishonor post-show media scrum, Tony Khan said that a lot of what Cornette says is very fair. Khan didn't give an example of some of Cornette's fair criticisms of AEW, nor did he explain what he's done, is doing, or will do to change the controversial wrestling personality's mind. Perhaps there will be a day when Cornette is won over by AEW, but with recent comments that Kenny Omega has made wrestling something to be laughed at, it may be a long time before that change of heart happens. At Ring of Honor's Death Before Dishonor, Jonathan Gresham lost the ROH World title to Claudio Castagnoli, marking the Swiss wrestler's first World Championship. Not long after, Gresham deactivated his Twitter account and now wants nothing to do with Ring of Honor. That's according to Fightful, who report that Gresham has asked for his release from ROH, but only after cussing out Tony Khan. Gresham is said to be annoyed by the lack of communication between himself and Khan, especially as he was the promotion's top star when the AEW founder bought ROH earlier this year. Gresham is also said to be furious about the Death Before Dishonor match, as at 11 minutes and 30 seconds, the title change opener was the second shortest match on the main card. His cussing out of Khan happened before Death Before Dishonor got started, but he still felt it was only professional to do the match as planned, despite his frustrations with ROH and its owner. At this time, Tony Khan hasn't publicly commented on the reports, but it appears we've seen the last of Jonathan Gresham in either ROH or AEW. Gresham has asked for his release from his AEW ROH contract, but something is also going on with his wrestling promotion. On Twitter, Terminus, the promotion run by Gresham, has deleted its account with no explanation to its followers as to why this has happened. Those close to Gresham have claimed that he is done with wrestling for the foreseeable future, and that likely explains the decision to end Terminus's Twitter account. The ROH World title loss was clearly hard on Gresham, who has deactivated his own Twitter account, and we'll just have to wait for when, if ever, he's back in the ring. For months, Darby Allin has had problems with the House of Black, and their wars haven't been confined to the ring. It was a couple of weeks ago that Brody King attacked Allin during an autograph signing, and now the former TNT champion has been ambushed again. The AEW Twitter account shared a video of Allin being attacked at a panel during San Diego Comic-Con, being laid out by both King and Malachi Black. We will have to wait and see how Darby Allin's feud with the House of Black will be booked in the coming weeks, but for the time being, their war is further intensifying with each passing week. At Double or Nothing, Bryan Danielson suffered what is suspected to be a concussion, one that has kept him out of action for nearly 2 months. Given Danielson's history of concussions, which ultimately forced him into retirement in 2016, this has been a worrying time, but there is, thankfully, some very good news. During ROH Death Before Dishonor, several matches were advertised for Wednesday night's Fight for the Fallen edition of AEW Dynamite, including a rematch between Danielson and Daniel Garcia. Not only will this match, a rematch from February, prove that Danielson is fully healed, but it will also be an excellent bout if their previous collision is anything to go by. On Wrestling Observer Radio, Brian Alvarez confirmed the news that Danielson has been medically cleared and will be back in the ring this week, and it's expected that the match with Zack Sabre Jr. that Danielson didn't get at Forbidden Door will happen eventually. Garcia lost to fellow BCC alum Wheeler Yuta at Death Before Dishonor, and he's likely to lose against Danielson. But no matter the result, the fact that Bryan is back in the ring will be a big win for AEW. Earlier this month, Cora Jade turned on Roxanne Perez, costing her tag team partner an NXT Women's Championship match against Mandy Rose. On last week's NXT 2.0, Jade threw her NXT Women's Tag Team Championship in the trash, signifying the end of their partnership, but Jade now has a new ally. At an NXT Live event, Jade was seen with Commander Aziz, who seems to be working as her bodyguard and has a brand new look. Aziz hasn't been seen in months and was nowhere to be seen when Apollo Crews recently returned to NXT. As for Perez, she's on the hunt for a new tag team partner, but if she's looking for revenge on Cora Jade, she'll have to deal with Commander Aziz first. Now, Valerie Loureda made headlines when she signed with WWE in June after retiring from Bellator to pursue her dream of being a pro wrestler. Now, the Latina signee has made her debut, appearing at an NXT 2.0 live event in Cocoa, Florida. Loureda cut a promo in the ring but didn't wrestle and has been training as of late in WWE's Performance Center. The 23-year-old fighter boasts a 4-1 record in Bellator and has said she hopes to work with Charlotte Flair one day and has now taken her latest steps in reaching that goal. When Vince McMahon announced his retirement, Tony Khan didn't wait long before addressing it, gloating about being the longest-serving CEO in pro wrestling. With 3 years under his belt compared to McMahon's 4 decades, many found the tweet to be cringe-inducing, as Khan took arguably the biggest story in wrestling ever and turned it into a ploy to promote Rampage. Speaking on the post-Death Before Dishonor media scrum, Khan explained his tweet, saying that his tweet was just a factual statement and that all it was an attempt to promote Rampage. Khan may never admit it, but the reason pro wrestling is the industry it is today is because of McMahon, who made it a global spectacle through various business decisions such as fighting the territories and pay-per-view. McMahon's retirement is huge, nobody can doubt that, but for Khan, it was much more important for him to promote last Friday's edition of Rampage on TNT. And we're ending today with more from AEW as another star has left the promotion. Tully Blanchard wasn't present with his stable Tully Blanchard Enterprise for the Death Before Dishonor show, and it was later revealed in the plot that Prince Nana had acquired the company. Sean Ross Sapp now reports that Blanchard missed the show due to his prison ministry group, but talents are being told that he's effectively gone from the company. Blanchard isn't being figured into any plans moving forward, bringing his 3 years with the company to an abrupt end. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.